In this video, I will explain you the processes of Agile. How Agile works. First, product owner will collect all the requirements in form of user story and put into the product backlog. Product backlog. User story A, B, C, D, E and F. This is the responsibility of product owner. Product owner is the voice of customer. Product owner will collect all the requirement in form of user story and put into the product backlog. Once he completed product backlog, then he go back to the stakeholder and prioritize the user story. They will use different technique to prioritize the user stories. First, they will use Moscow. First, they will use Moscow to prioritize the user story. Must have, should have, could have, would likely to have. And then they will use 100 points to prioritize the user story. They will give 100 points to each stakeholder, and at the end they will calculate which user story have more points, that will come to the number one priority. Then they will use dot voting. They will explain to each stakeholder, and at the end they will check which user story have more points, that will come to the number one priority. And then they will use monopoly money to prioritize the user story. They will give money to each stakeholder, and at the end they will check which user story have more money, that will come to the number one priority. Actually, they are prioritizing high value, high risk. They are prioritizing the user story with high value, high risk. Once they completed the prioritization, after that development team will come in the sprint planning meeting, sprint 0, and they will give a story points to user story. What is story point? Story point is effort required to complete the user story. Once more, what is story point? Story point is effort required to complete the user story. In sprint planning, team will estimate the user story. Team will estimate the user story. You know, Agile is lightweight estimation. Agile is lightweight estimation. First, they will use the technique ideal days or ideal hours. We know actual work is always more than the ideal. For example, we will suppose 50 ideal hours. Ideal days are ideal hours. We will suppose a 50 ideal hours. We are assuming we will not go to washroom, we will not take food, or we will not take tea, or we will not attend any unofficial call. It's mean we actually plan to fail. Ideal hours always take more time. Then they will use an other technique, that is affinity estimation. Affinity estimation is more of relative estimation. We will not quantify the user story, we will compare the user story with other one. For example, we will use t-shirt sizing. The small t-shirt size, this is the small user story, and medium and large. The team should know the large user story need a more effort than the small, and then the medium, and same goes to XL and double XL. And then we will use to prioritize, we will use to estimate the user story Fibonacci series. What is Fibonacci series? Fibonacci series. What is Fibonacci series? 1 plus 1, 2, 2 plus 1, 3, 3 plus 2, 5, and 5 plus 3, 8. When the user stories are increasing, the effort is also increasing in incremental level, not in sequential level or in linear level. It is increasing in incremental level. When the team give a points to the user story, team must have conflict on the user story. They think this is the point or this is the user story. This is the story points. Which the Scrum, this is the responsibility of Scrum Master to resolve the issue, to achieve the consensus of the story point. For that purpose, they will use a planning poker. Planning poker we use in order to achieve the consensus of story points. Scrum Master will ask to team member what you think, what is the story point, and then he go to other team member and ask them what is the story point. Then they will do round 1, round 2, round 3 unless they achieve consensus. Planning poker is very effective technique, but there is downsides of the planning poker. What is downsides of the planning poker? You have highest paid person in your team or most experienced person in your team or most senior person in your team. After the round 1, other member move towards him. They think he said must a right thing. This will decrease the effectiveness of the process. This will decrease the effectiveness of the process. Instead of planning poker, we will use wideband Delphi. We will use wideband Delphi. In this technique, Scrum Master will go to achieve the consensus in a secret way. He will go to one team member and ask them why you should think this is the story point, and then go to other team member why you should think this is the story point. Then he take a reason and go to other team member and he achieve a consensus without other party knowing what the first party has said. Then development team in sprint planning meeting, they will put the story points. Story points A, user story A, they put 12 story points, then B 14 story point, and then C 5 story point, and D 3, and E 8, and this one 2 story points. A team tell us they will do a 20 story point in a sprint. What is a sprint? Sprint is 1 to 4 weeks, but normally we will consider 2 weeks. Team velocity is 20 story points. It's what is the velocity? How many points team will do in one sprint? That is the velocity of the development team. They will do 20, and we will complete the sprint backlog. Team is doing work on sprint backlog. We will take A is 12 story point. Then we cannot take B, this is the more story point. We will take C, 12 plus 5, 17. Then we will take D, 3. This is the 20 story point. This is the velocity of the development team, and we start work on this. But before that, we share the goal with the stakeholder and the product owner, and after that team will start. Team is responsible for the sprint backlog. Team will tell us how much story point they will do in one sprint. Definitely there is agreement or there discussion on the story point, but team will tell us the velocity of the team, and how many points they will do in one sprint. We'll start work on the sprint backlog. Team will start the work on the sprint backlog, and then we will do a daily stand up. Daily stand up, daily sprint, daily scrum, daily iteration. It is depend upon the which terminology you are using. Daily stand up is for only 15 minutes. Daily stand up is for only 15 minutes. The time for the daily stand up is for 15 minutes. Same time, same location, same place. This is the meeting for the team, by the team. Scrum Master and development team should attend the daily stand up. If product owner wants to come, he can come. But Scrum Master and team should be there, and Scrum Master asks the three questions. What we have did yesterday, what we are going to do today, is there any impediment, roadblock, risk that need to resolve? The Scrum Master will facilitate the daily stand up. We will call daily follow up or daily stand up. Different name of one thing. This is for 15 minutes, and we try to do the daily stand up in co-location area. In Agile works in co-location environment, and we will use in osmotic communication. Osmotic communication is more of natural communication. For example, you and I are sitting at one place, and I am talking to the phone with someone else, and you overheard. This is the natural flow of communication. And the development team consists of 7 team members plus minus 2 team members. Cave and common. Cave mean if you want to do some work where you will not be disturbed, then you will go to cave and do your work. And common area is normal area where everybody can do work or everybody can perform their work. And then user story consists of user story, acronym of invest. User story should be independent. One user story does not depend on other user story, and user story should be small so we can complete in a sprint, and user story must be testable. If user story is large, we call them epic. We break down the user story so we can complete in a sprint. And we try to get a cross-functional team. I-type team member, the person who have master in one field, or T-type team member who have master in one field but he have also knowledge of other field. We try to get a normal team leader who have knowledge of other field but don't in the depth knowledge of all the field. And then after that, team will perform, keep on working, and when product complete, team will do the sprint review. This is more of a product demo. Team will do sprint review. This is more of a product demo. What we have completed so far, team will show to the customer and product owner. But before that, team have their own checklist. They will check according to that checklist. They have completed all the things or some things are remaining, because in Agile there is 100% work. 98% or 96% work is nothing in Agile. Agile is always 100% of work. They will check according to your own checklist, and after that product owner and customer will come, and they have their own acceptance criteria. own acceptance criteria. They will check according to that. If they accepted the product, then it will go to the release planning. Or if they rejected the user story, or some user stories are not completed, that will go back to the product backlog. That will go to the product backlog. If customer wants to add something, they can add here in this stage. They can add here in this stage, and then reprioritize the product backlog. Then product owner will reprioritize the product backlog. A grooming of product backlog. What is grooming of product backlog? After the sprint review, if some stories are rejected or some stories are not completed, that story points will go back to the product backlog, and product owner will reprioritize the product backlog. This reprioritization is called grooming of product backlog or refinement of the product backlog. And after that, team will do a sprint retrospective. After that, team will do a sprint retrospective. Retrospective have 5 stages. Retrospective have 5 stages. First, team will do sprint retrospective, and sprint retrospective have 5 stages. Sprint retrospective have 5 stages. First, team comes, and after that they will gather the data. They will gather data during entire sprint. They will gather data during entire sprint and generate insight. They will do a root cause analysis. Maybe they face some problem during last sprint, and they will do root cause analysis, so they don't want to get that same problem again in the next sprint. And then they decide what to do. They decide one or two improvement, or there is format what they should do more of, and what they should do less of, and what they should do start doing, and what they should do stop doing. And at the end, they will thanks everyone, and everybody will go back to their work, and they start their work. Development team, product owner will go back to their work. And there is a information radiator. There is information radiator. Burn up chart will show how much work is completed, and burn up chart also showing if the scope is edited. And burn down chart will show us how much work is remaining. And task board will show the status of the project. Task board will show the status of the project. And then lead time, cycle time, spikes, because some students are asking lead time, cycle time, and spikes. Lead time is a measurement of how much time passes when the task creation and when the work is completed. This is lead time. And cycle time, that is the time between when team start works on feature and when it goes to the end user. Lead time is a longer than the cycle time. Lead time is a longer than the cycle time. And then spikes, agile spikes. This is all about agile. If you master this journey, then you will be able to clear PMP exam questions that are relevant to the agile. First, in agile, product owner collect all the requirement in form of user story. Then he go back to the stakeholder and prioritize these user story using different techniques. After that, teams come in sprint planning meeting, sprint 0. They will give the story points to user story. What is story point? Story point is effort required to complete the user story. And then If there is conflict between team, the Scrum Master will facilitate the session and use different techniques, planning poker and wideband Delphi to achieve the consensus, and then they share the goal with the product owner and stakeholder, and then they start the work on that story points, and then they will do daily stand up, and then sprint review, sprint retrospective, and they completed the work in this way. This is all about agile. If you want to do a certified PMP within 1 month after the training, then you can join my anyone program. I have two program, one session, and it should be customized according to your requirement. This is the beauty of one session. And second is batch program. You can join anyone program as suits you. You will be certified PMP within minimum time, because I will provide you a mocks, different mocks for business environment, for processes and people. The question of mocks are very near to PMP exam question. I will provide you a best simulator, customized roadmap, and 7-step formula. It's mean I will tell you the 7 techniques to solve the PMP exam question. So you can join anyone program as suits you. Thanks for watching this video and live with passion.